The purpose of this tutorial is to show you how to make a YouTube thumbnail image. So the first thing I'm going to do is provide an example of what I mean. Whenever you do a search on YouTube, so in this case I'm going to go to youtube.com, you will probably notice that by searching for a particular topic, for example, if I was looking up the word Epson, in this area you'll notice that as you scroll down you'll see a host of images. These are called thumbnails, and you want to create a thumbnail that can cause your particular video to stand out. So what I'm going to do is begin the process of showing you what you would do in order to get started with creating your own customized thumbnail image. To get started, what I've done is I've logged into one of my YouTube accounts, and what I've looked at is this particular area that shows how to write an article using the Google Keyword Tool Planner. When you look at this, you'll notice that it doesn't have an appealing thumbnail. For example, if I were to look at this one, how to start a blog for free, when this particular thumbnail pops up, you can go backwards again. When I'm looking at these thumbnails, what you'll notice is that on my screen I have this particular image that will appear in the search. I kind of like it because it will stand out to a viewer. If you look a little bit further down, that's not the case with some of these other video images. So one of the ones that I would like to change, for example, would be this one on how to write an article using Google Keyword Tool Planner. The first thing I'm going to do is I will click this link, and here when this ad plays I'm going to just let it run through. So I'm just going to use a really simple method here, and I'm going to click skip ad, and when this shows up on the screen I'm going to let it stay there for a moment until it goes through. I don't want you to hear the information that's being played, because basically my goal is to make sure that I find an image that's visually pleasing, at least to me. So I'm letting this run, and I might even expedite it till I get to here. So I just skipped it, so let me go back a little bit, and I like this particular view. So what I'm going to do is make this full screen, and I'll wait for this message to disappear. It has. And because I want this particular image, what I'm going to do on my keyboard is at the very top right I'm going to press the print screen button. So I pressed it. At this point I'm going to click on this area to exit full screen. I'm going to minimize what I have here, and the method that I'm going to use right now in order to modify this is going to be PowerPoint. So you'll have to choose what type of image editor you want to use in order to modify this particular thumbnail image. So in my case I'm going to select PowerPoint. And what I'm going to do now is, I don't like this layout, so I'm going to change it. To do so, I'm going to make sure I'm on the Home tab in the Slides group. Using the Layout command, I'll click that, and I'm going to go to where it says blank. By clicking that, I'm now going to right-click, and I'm going to paste the image that I just received a few minutes ago from my video. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to resize it, and I'm going to do that by cropping it. So I'm just going to double click. Now by default I'm in the Format tab. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in the Size group. I'm going to click in this area of the crop command, and that's going to enable these particular areas to show on the outside. So I just want to bring this in a bit so it looks professional. And when I say that, each person's going to have a different thought about what professional looks like to them. And for me, I'm content with the information that I'm seeing so far. And I think I'm going to stop right here. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to press the Enter key on my keyboard. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to press the crop key located here. And I'll notice this is hanging off the screen. And for right now, I'm going to resize it a little bit and bring it in. It looks kind of strange, so let me undo that. I'm going to cut off some of this outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off some of the outside border. So I'm going to go back and double click again. And that's because a little bit of this is hanging off. So I'm going to click on crop again and I'll bring it in some more. For this, I'll click on that. I'll select crop. And over here on the right, I'll make sure that I crop that a little bit more as well. And I'll click crop again. So I am pleased with the information that I'm seeing so far. To get started, I'm going to make a few changes. In my case, because this is looking the way that it is, I'm going to make this a little bit longer. So in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Design, and I'm going to change my page setup for PowerPoint, and I'm going to make the width a little bit wider so I can have a little more room. And I'm just going to guesstimate here. I'm going to say I want it to be about 14 inches wide. And not for the picture. More specifically, I'd rather it be 14 inches wide as it relates to the page setup. And then I'll click OK. Okay. And as it relates to my picture, I'm going to go back and resize that some. And I'll move this over here to the side. Now, based on what I have so far, I'm going to look at my image again. I'll resize it just a little bit more. I'm just wanting to make sure I have enough white space on the left. And with you, you'll have to determine what color you want to add as a complement to what you're looking at. For me, I think I'm going to go with the complementary color of blue. So I'm going to right click in the middle of a blank space. I'm going to select Format Background. And when it comes to the color, for feel, I'm going to change this one to a solid color. And in this instance, I think I'll go with that. And for me, it looks like it has a little pop, but let me take a look at one more. And that may be a little bit better. So with that being done, I'm content with the look of this. And what I'll do for this is I want it to have some words that stand out. So I'm going to click on the Insert tab. The next thing I'll look in is the Illustrations group. I'll click in Shapes, and I'm going to draw this particular rectangle. And when I do, typically I'll start somewhere up here to the top. Each person will be different in how they want to handle this. And I don't like the color of the box, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, and that's going to give me the opportunity to come in and format the shape again. And I want to change the fill color. So here when I look at the color, I'm going to make this a darker blue so that it stands out, and I'll close it. And I'll begin the process of typing. Normally for the thumbnail image, it is probably important for you to determine what is it that you can say to appeal to a person so that they would be tempted to look at your video. You really want to give them some type of benefit. So in this particular case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the benefit that I have here. In this particular case, I'm going to type in discover how to generate ideas and keep readers coming back again and again. Now, one of the things I'm going to need to do is make this a little bit larger. In this particular case, you go to the Home tab and you can look in the font group, and you can of course start resizing until you're content. I'm going to make this a little bit larger so that viewers can see that. And when I look at this, to me this looks a little bit like too much. So in this case, I'm content with this amount. I want to make it a little bit larger. And when I start looking at it, really there's only so much I can do. So what I'm going to do is leave it this way. And I may make this area a little bit wider. And this is just me playing with this because I want it to be a little larger to grab the person's attention. And so with this is going to be the color and the size that I'll use. Furthermore, I'm going to click on the drop down area, or the drop down arrow in this case, because I want to modify the sentence case. And you do have the choice to basically say capitalize each word. For me, in this particular area, it looks like this is more professional. And I'm going to go with this. Then I want to select this so that I can put a shadow around it. So in this case, I'll look up here at the top because I've selected what it is that I want to change in terms of text. I'll look at the top and I'll click on the Format tab. And here, because the focus is on the text, I'm going to want to have some other type of outline color. And with this, I'm going to choose like a, maybe, I'm thinking like a black to get their attention. This color for orange certainly gives it a pop, which is very nice. And it causes me to consider a few more colors, a few more ideas. And I think maybe even a yellow, a gold would even do. And that makes it a little too much. So let's choose this orange for right now. And the second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add an outline. So the outline's already there. I chose the orange color. Another thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to modify the text effects, and I want to add a shadow. And typically I'll go with this type of shadow, and we can see that that gave it a little bit of a pop. And then the second thing that I want to do is add a glow, and that's so the information stands out. In this case, I probably want to go with this particular color, and that's looking a little bit better to me. And with that being said, I noticed that that should get the attention of the readers. The second thing is, because this isn't blended so well, I'm going to now click on the shape. And I know that the shape is selected because I see the circles and the squares. In order to modify the shape, I'm going to go in, I'm going to click on for shape outline. And in this area, I'll go for the orange as well. And furthermore, I'm going to select shape effects and I'll go for the glow. And this time, I'll also try to figure out how wide I want that, because you don't want it to be too much, you don't want it to be offensive to the reader, but you want it to stand out. And another thing that I want to do is go back and take a look and see if there is a way that I can actually change that color for the outline that I looked at earlier. So let me click on shape outline, and for this one probably, yeah, I'll probably keep it at what I had it at. So this is what that looks like, and so that's one of the ways that you can actually go in and give that a little bit of pop so that it stands out to the people who are going to look at your image. Or one of the things that I need to do here is to make sure that I save this as an image. To save this as an image, I'm going to right click, and with group I can see that everything's grouped together. The second thing is I'm going to click Save as Picture. So my goal is to save this as a picture. To do so, I'm going to right click, and here I'm going to click Save as Picture. This has already been named on my desktop, so I'm going to save it with the same name as the video that I have created. So I'm going to change this drop down to a JPEG, and I'll move it to what I named it, which is how to write an article using Google Keyword Tool Planner. And here I'm going to click Save, and I'm going to overwrite that file. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize PowerPoint, and I'm going to first right click, and I'm going to select Open With. So I made sure that I right clicked in the middle of the file, I hovered over Open With, and now I'm going to select Paint because that is a program that comes with the Windows machines. To make this a little bit smaller, I'm going to just zoom out a little bit, and it's nice because I can clearly see the information in the program. At this point, I need to resize and make my thumbnail meet the requirements of a 16 by 9, which is what is dictated by YouTube. So to get started, the first thing I need to do is I need to take a look in Paint. I'm on the Home tab, looking in the image group. I'm going to click Resize. This menu pops up, and one of the things that I notice is it shows me that I can resize by percentage. I'm going to click to change it to pixels. This is a very large image. So for me, I think one of the things that I want to do first is I want to resize this so that it doesn't exceed, I'm going to choose 1278, and I'm going to click OK. And so now I can see what the thumbnail looks like. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click Resize again. I'll move this back over, and I'm going to select Pixels. What I'm going to do is to take this horizontal number, and I'm going to type it after I do my search. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Chrome, and I'm going to do a search in my browser, and I'm going to type in 16:9 and press enter. In this case, I need to take a look at the aspect ratio calculator for content area width, and this is for size43.com, so I'm going to click on that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the width. So I'm going to say the width of my image is 1278, and it tells me that the height needs to be 719 in order to conform to the 16:9 high definition size to make a customized thumbnail for YouTube. So now I'm going to go back to Paint, and in here, let me check that one more time. So that's 719. In here, I need to uncheck Maintain Aspect Ratio, and I need to change this to 719. And when I click on OK, it takes on the look that I need for it to for the 16:9 high definition. So at this point, I'm going to go back and I'm going to save this image again. I'm going to minimize it because we can now upload that thumbnail to YouTube, and I should be able to see the entire image. So I need to go back. I'm going to go back to my Video Manager area. In this instance, I'm going to edit my thumbnail. So I'm going to make sure I'm in Video Manager. I'm going to click on Edit. And I can see the thumbnails that are here, and like I said before, they do look kind of bland. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Custom Thumbnail. I'm going to navigate to the area that I saved it and click on this image, and I'll select Open, and it'll begin the upload process. Here's where I should see, and I do. I see the entire image, and I want that to be the thumbnail. All I have to do is click Save, and it's going to take it a little bit of time to update, but once I'm done in this area, if I click on Video Manager, I should now see that thumbnail picture in the area which I do. And so this should help your image stand out as it relates to the video search, and it can also cause people to notice your video over the competition. So that's how you would actually make your thumbnail for your YouTube customized image.